Good evening, Dr. Aham. We are from Group 7 and this is our project presentation video. So the project that we choose is Carbon Sense. So in this project presentation video, we are going to briefly talk about what this project did and also step by step how we deploy it. Like we create CI/CD pipeline in Jenkins, try to automate it, and also try to create an image and push the image to Docker Hub and also use the JMeter to test the performance of that. So let me explain to you what this project did first. So Carbon Sense is a collaborative platform developed by the Faculty of Computing UTM and MBIP to support the Iskandar Puteri Low Carbon IPRK initiative aimed at promoting energy saving practices and reducing carbon emissions. So the key features of this system is to automate the carbon reduction calculation and also provide a real-time monitoring dashboard and also collect the data for analysis. So I'm not going to dive very deep for these details. So let me show you the step. So the first step is to set up a Jira project and also try to invite all the member as a collaborator. So you just go to the Jira website and just create the project, Carbon Sense, and also try to add those people as a collaborators. Yeah. So the second one would be create GitHub repo and add collaborators. Yeah. So it just same as what Jira. So you just go to the GitHub and try to push your project into the GitHub. Yeah, and then just try to add everyone as the collaborator so that they can pull the code and then they can write the Jenkins script.
Hi, my name is Siabde Kai. So in this part, I'm going to explain how our group integrate Jenkins with Jira, GitHub, Docker, and also JMeter. So first of all, we need to install all the plugins. So as you can see, we have attached all the screenshot of the plugin that we have installed in our Jenkins. So you can see in this page is GitHub plugins and also Docker plugin. So in this page, we have attached another two plugin screenshot, which is Jira plugin and also Performance plugin. So Performance plugin actually is for the JMeter integrations. Next, we go to the credential page to create all the credentials that need for GitHub, Jira, and also Docker integrations. So in this step, we go to our GitHub, Jira, and also Docker Hub account to get the access token or API token key, and then create a credentials inside this credential page. Next, we go to system setting to configure about our Jira integrations. So first, we give it a name and then paste our Jira site URL inside the URL field, and then select the credential that we have created before for the Jira integration. We also configure the setting for Docker and also GitHub. For Docker, we have paste our Docker registry URL and then also select our Docker Hub credentials. For GitHub, we have paste our repository URL and also select the GitHub credentials. So we have attached some of the screenshot of our pipeline script. We have put or load some of the key or details that needed for the integrations, like for the Jira issue key that needed for post build actions to update our Jira issues. And also we have put the image name for our Docker. We have put Jira site name. We have put Docker host. We have put the GitHub URL, our repository URL, and also load the Docker credentials. So next, I'm going to explain how our group create issue in Jira project and also update the issue in our pipeline. So basically, we just create a new issue in our Jira bot, and then we obtain the issue key. So in this project, our issue key is car-1. Then we define the issue key inside our pipeline. After that, we define a post build actions to add the command to our Jira issue to indicate whether the build is success or failure. This is a screenshot of our Jira issue build Jenkins pipeline. So you can see there is a command build #61 pass successful. This indicates that the build number 61 is successful. So for every build, it will automatically generate a new command in our Jira issue to indicate the build is success or fail.
My name is Nathan Chong, and now I would like to present for the sixth step, which is the integration of JMeter performance tests in our Jenkins pipeline. First, in order that our Jenkins can be integrated with the JMeter performance test, we will need to configure the JMeter script inside the JMeter interface. For instance, in these images, we actually going to configure our very own JMeter script inside the JMX file that is going to be implemented by using a JMeter interface. After we have configured the JMeter script inside the JMeter interface, we are actually going to integrate directly inside the Jenkins pipeline so that the Jenkins pipeline actually able to read the script that has been performed inside the JMeter and at the same time able to conduct the performance testing effectively inside this JMeter performance testing. Next, after the finish of the configuration of JMeter file, we're actually going to proceed with the post-build action to generate the JMeter report by using the plugins. In this image, we're actually going to enable the plugin so that inside the Jenkins pipeline, it actually enable the plugin to track the performance KPI based on the results that have been read from the popular testing tool. In this case, JMeter can be considered as one of the popular testing tools that Jenkins have been constantly integrated with. Last but not least, once we have configured the Jenkins together with the JMeter, we're actually able to monitor KPIs like, for example, response time, error percentage directly from the Jenkins dashboard. As in this case, we actually have more effective communication and also able to view directly regarding the KPIs from the dashboard, so that we're actually able to know more on what is the actual time and also the responses in average among the KPIs. First thing first, we're actually going to write a Docker file together with an app dependency and entry point. This is a very important entry point so that the GitHub actually able to create the Docker image creation directly from the GitHub project, and at the same time we're actually able to deploy based on the container name, the image name, and also the latest tag directly from the Docker file with the create app dependency. Next, we also can build Docker project directly from the repositories that have been cloned from GitHub. This is to enable that the Docker projects actually able to be downloaded from the repositories that have been cloned from GitHub, so that the repository actually able to conclude everything regarding Docker image creation. Next, in this last step, we're actually able to build and start with the Docker Compose. The Docker Compose, once it has been deployed, you're actually able to have a more direct approach to deploy the Docker directly from the workspace by using the Docker Compose.yml file.
Good day, Doctor. My name is Ng Keng Kiat, and now I'm going to explain a step at pull Docker image from the Docker Hub to workstation using Docker. So, in order to pull image from Docker Hub, we need to enter this command in the CMD, so which is docker pull, the Docker Hub username and the image name. After that, it will appear in the Docker Hub. And we define the port number in this file, docker compose.yml. So we define the port 8090 in the port in order to run in the localhost. And finally, we can access the localhost in the browser. So we access by typing the localhost 8090, and then it will appear in the browser. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Greetings, Doctor. My name is Shizan, information number 8167, and I'll be showing the demo, the recording of all of the 8 steps that was explained by my group mates just now. So for the first step of creating a project account in Jira, and it's over here, we will be having a Jira account, and inside there will be the 5 members present: me, Tan Zhen Chai, Ng Keng Kiat, Yap De Kai, and Daniel. So all of us are already in this Jira platform. And next would be creating a project repo in GitHub, in which we have it here, Carbon Sense, and we have all 5 of us as the collaborator for this project repo. For the third set of integrating Jira, GitHub, JMeter, and Docker plugin in Jenkins and an integrator. So the main thing in this step would be having the credentials set up in Jenkins, so that Jenkins is able to connect to all these external tools like GitHub, Jira, and Docker. So I'll be managing it at Manage Jenkins, the credentials, and over here you can see we have it, the system, stored it as the global credential for GitHub, Jira, and Docker, in which I will get the access token for Jira over here, API token, Docker over here, and GitHub over here. So by using all these access token, I will be granting Jenkins the permission to actually run and access to my account for Jira, GitHub, and Docker. And fourth will be creating an issue Jira project and updating the issue in the Jenkins project pipeline. So it's over here. We will be having the first one, build Jenkins pipeline, and for every update of the pipeline, we will be having over here providing them the commit logs of what is happening. So you can see over here, 3 days ago, build failed, build succeeded, Docker immerse push, app deployed, JMeter task completed. So this is what the integration we have between Jira and also Jenkins. So they are able to connect to each other, reporting to us on Jira what is actually happening on the Jenkins platform. And for the fifth one, committing and pushing our project to GitHub repo, running in the project pipeline. So as we know, in GitHub we're actually running the file called Jenkins file over here. So Jenkins would be accessing this repo, cloning it, and then running this Jenkins file, going for the pipeline from environment to stages, build and push, deploying, waiting for the SQL, JMeter, publishing, updating, and finally pushing it, launching it, and giving the Jira the correct command. So for this part, step 5, committing and pushing the project to GitHub repo is over here and running it in the Jenkins project pipeline. So now I will be running the whole thing on the Jenkins pipeline. So over here you can see there's one thing called Carbon Sense CSE, in which we use it to actually go through the whole workflow in which we have in the Jenkins file. So before allowing the workflow to run, we will be having to grant it the permissions. So I'll be granting manage Jenkins, going to system, and over system you will see we'll be telling the Jira what access to get through our global credential that we defined just now and where to house it. So Jira size will be having it in my Jira, the URL that we are allowing it to access, and the credential that we want it to log in through, and also by Docker and also GitHub. So all of this will be configured at the Jira system configurations. And next would be having plugins, because Jenkins require plugins to actually like allowing JMeter to show the performance, or allowing Docker to push or pull image from the Jenkins interaction. So for plugins, it will be over here, and we will be able to see the plugins that we've installed and I'm using, in which example are End plugin, support to Jenkins, or even build timeout, command agent launcher. More specific one will be Docker pipeline, Docker plugin. To actually, all of this is to enable the integration smoothly between Jira and all the tools that we mentioned just now. And now I will be launching the project pipeline. So just going to here and build now, and I can see it's over here, build number 62, and it will be running. So it will not be running for too long, and in the meantime I will be explaining it through the build number 61 over here, in which we can see in the Docker over here is now empty initially, and after the CI/CD runs successfully, it will be pushed over here, and we will be pushing two images into the Docker Hub. First one is the project, and the second one is the database, because we are having two images. One is the project, one is the database. So both of them will be launching on Docker desktop, and they will be integrating with each other to actually launch this project together. So first one we can see is from the Jenkins file over here. We'll be having init SQL, in which the database image should be running this to have the query inside it, and we will be having docker file.mysql, in which this is the SQL file, the Jenkins file, to actually build the database image up, and we'll be having this compose docker compose YAML to let the Docker know what port and what is the domain name to actually serve this services. So back to the Jenkins file over here, we can see build number 62 is almost finished. We'll be going for the pipeline overview. So over here we will see checking out, and then we'll be cloning the repository, so cloning the whole repository from our GitHub, and after that they will be building and pushing the image to Docker. Over here, building and pushing the image to Docker. So these are the two images that we are pushing to Docker, and next would be the deploying with Docker Compose YAML. Is not it's not here yet. I'll be explaining with M61. So For the third step is building and pushing it. So you can see in the Docker it will push and put, and we will be deploying with the Docker Compose. So it will go into repo and read this Docker Compose YAML, so the project and the database are able to call each other. So we are defining the interaction in Docker Compose, and then we will be waiting for MySQL to get ready, because we want to make sure the database is up before we are running JMeter tests. Because JMeter run when the database is successfully connected, so we want to wait for JMeter is ready, and when it is ready, only then we will run the JMeter performance test to go for quality tests and connection tests and etc. And next, we will be publishing JMeter report, updating Jira about if the build is success, and that's all. So go to 62. Yeah, so everything is already done over here. And going back to the pipeline overview, we will see we will be writing it, running it, everything is done, and when we open up our Docker, we will see there will be a container running over here already, in which the container composed of the two images that I've built just now, and the volume is the MySQL data in which it is stored. So for now, I'm able to log into the page already. I'll be able to connect to the database as well. So that is basically the process of pushing image to Docker. And next would be step number 6, in which we can see the performance report. So for performance report, it will be in Jira, and for pipeline number 62, we will see it in the performance report test. So the performance report test would be getting from Carbon this repo, in which it will read the JAMX file from the test folder, and then this is the test script that we have written in the repo for Jira to run the test script, and all of this would be used by the JMeter to actually read the test script and generate out the performance report, and the performance report will be available in the Jenkins dashboard as well. And next, we can also view it in our local in my local directory over here, builds 62 performance report JMeter result.jtl. And yes, this is another place for us to view what is happening in the report test. So next step would be other team members. We can pull the Docker image from the Docker Hub into the workstation using Docker. So last for me, we'll be showing where is the Docker Hub. So I'll be having the Docker Hub over here, ZagIchi/CarbonDB and Carbon Sense app. So my teammate will be showing you later how to actually pull this image from Docker Hub to their local and running it from there. And lastly, I'll also show the database running on MySQL, in which it is launching on. It is running on Docker, but we can also access it in the MySQL application tables, and you can see all of this data is already gone through the MySQL query, and the data are all available. So I think that will be all from me. Thank you.
Now I would like to demo on how we actually can pull the Docker images into our respective Docker workstation. And for this case, I will actually using the Docker that has been developed by Zheng by using the latest version of the Docker image. First, I will change this tag number into the latest number, in this case 62. Afterwards, once I have changed the tag number and also checking that all of this information have been correct, now I will utilize the command which known as the Docker Compose up-d to actually pull the latest Docker image into my Docker desktop workstation. So now I will actually going to perform this action, and as usual the Docker will actually going to run, and until after the run, and it will directly be installed inside this Docker. Now this Docker, it has been run with the latest version, which is the Docker 62.